You said it first. In the meeting, you made the point. Clearly, you thought, and it landed on silence. The conversation just moved on. Then 10 minutes later, someone else says almost exactly the same thing. And suddenly it's, great point, let's run with that. And you sat there thinking, I said that. I said that first. So you told yourself you need to be more confident, speak up more, be louder, bolder, more sure of yourself. But here's what I've learned, and it changes everything. Most of the time, it isn't a confidence problem. It's a clarity problem. Being heard at work is not about being the loudest voice in the room, or the most senior, or the most naturally outgoing. It's a set of skills, specific, learnable, and quietly powerful, and almost nobody is ever taught them. So today, 4 ways to actually be heard at work, written for the British workplace, where so much of what matters is in what people don't quite say. Let's get into it. The first way is to crack the code that the British workplace runs on: politeness. Here's the thing about a lot of UK offices. People very rarely say exactly what they mean. They say something softer and trust you to translate. I'm not sure that's quite right. Doesn't mean they have a small doubt. It often means that is wrong. With the greatest respect usually means the opposite of respect is coming. Leave it with me can mean I'll sort it, or it can mean you will never hear about this again. And that's certainly one approach, is very rarely a compliment. If you take all of this literally, you will walk out of meetings thinking it went well when half the room was politely telling you no. So learn to listen for the meaning under the manners. That's the first half. But here's the second half, and it's the one that helps you. Don't hide your own message inside that same fog. So many capable people wrap their point in so much softening. I just thought maybe, possibly, if it's not too much trouble, that the actual message disappears. You can be warm and clear. I'd recommend we do X because Y is not rude. It's a gift. You've saved everyone the work of decoding you. The second way is about the moment itself. The meeting, the call, the room where it actually counts. Because being right is not the same as being heard. And our friend from the start of this video, the one whose idea got repeated back to them, was right. They just weren't heard. So here's how you fix that. First, lead with the headline. Don't build slowly to your point, hoping people stay with you. In a busy meeting, attention is short. Say the conclusion first, then the reasons. I think we should delay the launch. Here's why. The point that arrives first is the point that gets remembered. Second, claim your turn, gently but deliberately. If you're someone who waits for a clean gap in the conversation, in some meetings that gap is never coming. You're allowed to say, "Can I add something here?" You're allowed to take up the space. A short, clear sentence said into the room beats a brilliant idea you took home unsaid. And if you do get talked over, and it happens to all of us, you don't have to surrender it. A calm, "I'd like to finish my thought," is completely professional. Third, and this is the quiet power move, lock it in afterwards. A short message after the meeting. Good discussion. Here's the action I'm picking up. Does something subtle. It puts your contribution in writing with your name on it. The idea that lives in the follow-up email is much harder for anyone to accidentally adopt as their own. The third way is the one most of us never think of as communication skills at all. Your writing. Because so much of work now is writing. Email, chat, messages. And most of it is quietly, exhaustingly unclear. Here's the single biggest fix. Put the ask in the first line. We've all received the message that's 4 paragraphs of background, and somewhere near the bottom, buried, is the thing they actually need you to do. By then, half the readers have given up. Flip it. Lead with what you need and by when. Could you approve this by Thursday? Context below. Now the busy person knows what's wanted in the first 3 seconds. Match the channel too. A quick yes or no does not need a formal email with a subject line. A serious, sensitive issue should not be fired off as a one-line chat message at 6:30. And a gentle warning about the British speciality, the passive-aggressive email. As per my last email. Just to circle back again. Any update on the below? It feels satisfying to send. It rarely gets you what you want, and it leaves a record of you sounding irritated rather than effective. Clear writing isn't a soft skill. It's respect for the other person's time, and a record that quietly protects you. Say what you mean, ask for what you need, and make it easy to say yes.
And the 4th ray is the one that, over a career, matters more than all the others combined. Listening. Not waiting for your turn to speak, not nodding while you load your reply, actually listening. Most people, in most conversations, are just queuing up what they want to say next, so the rare person who genuinely listens stands out enormously and is trusted in a way the clever talkers never quite are. Here's how you show it, simply. Reflect back what you heard before you respond. So, if I've understood, the real worry is the timeline, not the budget. Is that right? Do you know how rare that is? How disarming? You've just shown the other person they were actually received. Most people go their whole working lives rarely feeling that at work. Ask the question that proves you were paying attention, rather than the one that drags it back to you. And read the room. In a culture this indirect, the most important thing said is often the thing only half said. In a pause, in a glance, in a, well, we'll see. Because here's the quiet truth about being heard. The fastest way to become someone whose voice carries is to be known as someone who truly hears other people first. People go to bat for those who make them feel understood. That is the whole game.
So let's go back to that meeting. The one where your idea landed on silence and walked out on someone else's lips. That wasn't proof you're not good enough or not confident enough. It was 4 missing skills. Reading the room, leading with your headline, claiming your turn, and making people feel heard. None of them require you to become louder or fake or someone you're not. They just require you to be clear. Warmly, deliberately clear, in a culture that often isn't. Do that, and you stop being the person whose good ideas get borrowed and become the person the room actually turns to. So, tell me below, what's the most British polite no you've ever received? The one that took you a while to decode. I want to hear them.